Welcome back to our live coverage of OSCON 2011. We're joined now by Paul Scott, the manager of the Free Software Innovation Unit at the University of the Western Cape. And last time I checked, that's way down in South Africa, right?
That's right, all the
right.
way in Cape Town.
So, long trip to come all the way over here to Portland.
Absolutely, a very long trip.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So glad you could join us here and take some time away from OSCON as well. You work on AVOIR, I think, make sure you get this right, the African Virtual Open Initiatives and Resources Project. Can you talk more about the project itself and the impact it's had?
Yeah, well, basically what the project is about is that it's a capacity building project. So it's building human capacity, human capital through software engineering. So we take people that, you know, are either school leavers or undergrad or postgrad students, teach them really, really good software engineering practices, upskill them in doing that by having them do projects, and then by the end of it they either go off and, you know, get jobs in industry or stay with us and contribute more to the project.
How many students have been educated in that context now?
That's difficult to say because some students come in for, you know, a couple of weeks, others stay for a few years. So, but I would say it's more than 50, so it's been a pretty successful program.
What role would you say that open source has now taken in development in Africa as a whole?
Well, I think that the way that the free and open source projects are run is a great way of working in Africa. Mainly because collaboration needs to be done in Africa just to get the critical mass of people that are able to do, you know, good work and get stuff done. So, you know, the whole open source model for doing stuff really does work in Africa. And the way that people are participating in the projects and working within the projects tells me that we've hit on something, you know, that does work and is a good thing.
I had the opportunity to talk to some Kenyan developers a couple of weeks ago for the launch of their open data initiative.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they reminded me of is how much innovation is happening in the mobile space. And some of that's being driven by Android in that context, which is certainly open source. What role is mobile open source playing in your world right now?
We're not doing a lot of projects on mobile open source, but specifically developing for like the Android platform, mainly because there is only about an 8% market for smartphones in the country still. So it really is more, you know, of the minority market, and we try and reach out to as many people as possible. However, that being said, we have done quite a few really cool projects on feature phones. You know, using XMPP and XMPP clients on mobile to achieve some pretty cool stuff there.
What are some of your favorite projects or examples in that context?
Well, I think that probably my favorite one is the mobile social networking, the creating communities thing that I did. I gave a talk about that at OSCON, I think 2 years ago, last year. So, okay. Sorry, I can't remember. So that, I mean, because it was my personal project as well, really does have a place in my heart for. And I think that that project still is extremely valuable for educational context as well as, you know, just a regular kind of, you know, social networking type of thing too.
So you've written and shared a fair bit about e-learning free software initiatives. What role are they playing specifically in education where you live?
The projects themselves? Well, you know, obviously with the universities that are part of the AVOIR network, most of them, if not all of them, are using the project that they've helped create as an e-learning system for their university. The e-learning system is now moving into what we call the FET colleges as well, which are kind of, FET stands for Further Education and Training. So it's not quite a university level, but it's, you know, post high school graduation. And so we're actually working on a qualification in free and open source software engineering that is a recognized national qualification that people can go out and do. They do all of that work on Chisimba, which is the e-learning platform as well. Well, it's the framework that drives the e-learning platform. And in the process of gaining that qualification, they contribute code back to the project as well. So, you know, they then also are able to take those skills that they've learned by doing that qualification and start small businesses, which we have a couple of pilots running with that at the moment as well. So all of these things are kind of starting to tie together now, and it's starting to get quite exciting.
That's great. Well, so last question, this is more of a broad one, right? What's the best current example, in your opinion, of a disruptive technology can happen?
Okay, well, I don't really like the term disruptive tech. I actually wrote something about that on my website.
I might have noticed that.
Yeah. So I prefer to think of things that, you know, like what marketing people would say as disruptive, as evolutionary. But that being said, I think that mobile phone applications and mobile applications in general, pretty much, it doesn't really matter what they do, but the disruption, I think, comes from, if you'll excuse me, comes from the fact that it is mobile and people can start working and playing and interacting and engaging with other people a lot more without being tied down. And that to me is pretty exciting as well, because it opens up a number of different areas that were previously kind of closed off because you needed access to like a wired line or a Wi-Fi access point or electricity for that matter. And so a lot more can be done in a lot more different places.
I think I read The Guardian reported over 500 million mobile phone users in the continent of Africa now.
That sounds pretty right.
It's a major shift from a decade ago, or some 4 million. Okay. Well, again, this was Paul Scott, manager of the Free Software Innovation Unit at the University of the Western Cape in South Africa.
That's right.
Thank you very much for joining us today.